Hello and welcome to another Anatomy of a Turn video. This is the series where I do a little bit more of a focused analysis of a particular turn or a small part of the game, so I can go into a little bit more depth to some of the thoughts and the actions that I was planning. Before we get started, as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, press those buttons, it's always very helpful. And always you can check out my Patreon page, link below, which lists all of my articles, videos, etc. All in one place for you. So let's get started. We've got some Dark Elves that I'm playing versus some Orcs. And I'm 300 TV down to these Orcs, so it's a little bit of a pickle. There's a Mighty Blow tackle blitz, Orc Blitzer in particular that's caused me a lot of troubles, being a right pain. So the situation is, I had a wizard that had to use that to score in the first half, and then the Orcs scored quite quickly in the second half, so it's now 1-1, as you can see by the score there. And I'm just trying to drive to score in 8 turns, well, on turn 8 of this drive, hopefully, to win the game 2-1. The situation with this is there's a Witch Wolf on the floor up here who surfed a Black Orc who was left in a bad position there. That's why these two guys are here, and then ran up forward to try and spread the play a little bit, and the ball landed on the sideline, so the rest of the guys are just forming the protection for where the ball carrier landed. And so the interesting thing about this turn is that I need to be planning out the entire rest of this drive in order to try and score in the right number of turns, because I'm both players and skills down to this Orc team. I have to be really precise about how I pace this drive. There won't be any room for like slightly sloppy turns or for getting a bit greedy, and that's why this is one of the first interesting decisions to make. Is that this Black Orc standing right here is a really easy surf. I could move this lineman back here, and then use the blitzer who I've just started moving to blitz him down there, and then I could use this guy to block him off there, and that'd be another block out of the play. Now normally that'd be a really good thing to do. If this was turn 1, 2, 3 of the first half, doing that absolutely nailed on, no doubt about it, but I don't have time for it. I need to think about where I'm going to be for the rest of this drive, and you can see because of the turn I played previously, I managed to stretch out the Orcs all along the length of the pitch, and also they're all on this left hand side of the pitch as well. And this is how a really good sign for the Dark Elves teams. The more spread out the players, the bigger the gaps, and the more chance there is for the Elves to do some 2-up dodges at worst, and then just run through gaps and then try and get into forward position. So I'm into thinking about where I'm going to move on turn 13, turn 14, turn 15, try and get myself into scoring position. And the plan is this, is that there's this lineman here, Orc lineman, completely without any skills, and I've got one of my dodge blitzers here. So if I blitz him and free up this lineman, then I can try and get my cage sorted into this area, and that's step 1 of the plan. So step 1 is to go here. The Orcs will come back to around this area, but because they are so spread out, they're not going to be able to block off this part of the pitch here, which is where I want to get to next turn. So the plan is, first turn, go here. Second turn, it's going to have to be about here, because the Orcs will be able to get a little bit, so I won't be able to like just run straight forward into this area. I'm probably going to be roughly about here, and then on my turn 15, hopefully I'll be able to get forward into this space, and then that'll be a scoring position for turn 16. The position the Orcs are in means that is very likely. The chances of getting all these Black Orcs back into this position to cover the entire width of the pitch in that turn is quite slim. He's going to have to play absolutely perfectly for position, and I'm confident that he might get a little bit greedy, take 1 too many blocks, another maybe 2 too many blocks, and that's going to fatally weaken his position and allow me to try and get through the gaps. So I'm going to pass up this really tasty surf, and I'm going to make a blitz here with this blitzer to free up the space. Okay, so luckily I get the POW. I'm going to push forward, and then I'm moving backwards here. You may think, well, that's slightly you're going in the wrong direction, but I've counted the number of squares where this blitzer can reach to, so he can reach on this line here. And so I'm going to have to put him there. I don't want him to go for it, so I want to be losing rerolls for nothing. So that's why he's moving back there to form part of the screen. Okay, and it also very handily tags up this guy on the floor as well. So my ball carrier's got blodge, and so that means that whilst he could, if he really wanted to, make a 5-up dodge with a lineman for a 1 dice on here, presuming I get the cage to work, that's obviously not going to be a very good thing for him to do. So I think there's a lot of advantage attacking this guy and not a lot of risk. Okay, that having worked, I can stand up this guy here. I was thinking about some various options with him, but in the end I decided that marking out this frenzy guy is a pretty good plan. So the plan here is going to be to try and mark the blitzers if anyone's going to get marked, and then just leave the Black Orcs on their own. The Black Orcs are slow, they're not going to be able to get many places. The way he's going to stop me from developing my drive is by getting his blitzers into defensive positions, and so I can afford to leave the Black Orcs alone. Like this guy down here that I was talking about surfing, he's out of the game. I've run away, he's always going to be behind the play. The best case scenario you can do is just end up here, which means I can just 2+ dash forward and run away from him with my movement 7/6 players. So that's a slight overcommitment there, which I'm trying to take advantage of. Okay, I've decided here that I'm going to dodge this lineman out, but if I take this 2 dice block here with this guy, then that'll give me a much better path to move him through should the block work. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I don't have to worry about a reroll. And the reasoning for this is that I want to be slightly proactive. I don't want to dodge all of my guys away. If I can take this 2 dice block and then take this lineman out of the play, that's just as much positional advantage as it is to just dodging him away and putting him here. Because if I just dodge this guy away, and then obviously, if I'm going to dodge, obviously not going to put the assist in. If I just dodge this guy away, then this guy can just move around to here, which is it's not gaining me very much at all. So blocking him down and then being able to move away in my next turn is giving me positional advantage for a much less risk. So a 2 dice block, even without block, is less likely to fail than dodge. So I've put this guy here to set up the block, but I'm not rolling the block yet because it's not as important as other things, which is forming the end part of my screen. So I'll do that first, and then after this point, everything else I do, I'm not going to invest a reroll in. I don't think, because I'm in a really safe position. I've got 3 rerolls left for 4 turns, including this one, so I'm going to leave it at that. Lucky enough, get the power there, that's great, which means that I can dodge this guy through and put him there. Now this is a mistake. I think I probably should have gone here, because that blocks off any path that my opponent can get to this guy here, the blodger, in case he wants to steam in and start blitzing him. But the good part about that is I'm further over towards this side of the pitch, so it's harder for my opponent to tag me out and stop me from developing further forward. So it's not the end of the world. It might be a very slight error, but we'll leave it at that. And then finally, I decided to make a dodge here with my Witch Elf, and then in the end I did actually reroll it, and I'm not sure that was the correct decision. I think she was probably going to be alright on the floor there, presuming she didn't break armour. She's got jump up, she can get back into the play, into the middle of the pitch on the next turn. But in the end I decided, I changed my mind. I went back on my original thoughts and I used a team reroll. I thought having her up here is going to drag some of these blitzers over here into trying to hit him. I read my opponent, well, it's not hard, not a deep read, but he was very keen on trying to kill that Witch Elf during this part of the game with this tackle mighty blow guy. So if she just hangs around over here, then that's going to suck up a few of these players and then slow their movement over towards this part of the pitch, which is the important part of the pitch for me. So I'm just going to get her back involved. She have to move, otherwise she's getting served. Which would not have been a good idea. Although maybe I should have left that, to be honest. If he's going to use 3 players to surf a player on the opposite side of the pitch to where I'm going, then that might have been a good plan. Hindsight. Anyway, yeah, she's there. on the opposite side of the pitch to where I'm trying to go, which is always a good thing. If you have a receiver, have it on the side of the pitch where you're not trying to move into, because that's going to give your opponent problems to worry about. The full width of the pitch, and if you can drag your opponent's players as far apart as possible, as we said at the beginning of the video, that's going to give you more gaps to move through. Okay, and that's about it. We've got, as you can see, a nice little screen here. Ball carrier is quite safely tucked up, nice and safe. And there's a huge gap on this right hand side of the pitch for me to move into my next turn. And hopefully I can develop and score further down the line. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you again next time.